So here's an options trade where I made $39 net profit or 10% in 3 weeks on Nvidia, while only risking $390 of capital. All right, so September 13, I placed an iron condor trade on Nvidia with an expiration of October 18. So September 13, Nvidia was trading at around 180, 181. It closed at 182. So I sold the 200 call and I sold the 160 put. So these are my limits. These are my short strikes. I basically keep all the profit if Nvidia stays above 160 and below 200 come October 18. Right now we're October 14, Nvidia is trading at 186, but I didn't wait till expiration. I closed the trade early on October 4th. So I collected $110 to open the trade. That's what I collected when I initially sold the iron condor on Nvidia, September 13. But then on October 4th, I closed the trade early for $55. So I paid $55 to close it. Minus commission of $16, I'm left with $39 of net profit on a capital invested of $390. So that's a 10% return in exactly 3 weeks. September 13 to October 4th is 3 weeks exactly. How do I calculate the capital invested? Well, basically, the max risk in an iron condor trade is the difference between both strikes. So you can see that between the selling strike and between the short strike and the long strike. So short is basically the strike that I'm selling and long is a strike that I'm buying. And I'm basically buying this strike for protection. It caps my loss. So the difference here is 5. So 5 times 100 is $500. So my max loss is $500 minus any credit I received to open the trade. And since the credit I received to open this iron condor was $110, then worst case scenario, my max loss would be $390. And this would happen if Nvidia goes outside of my range of 160 and 200. So if Nvidia goes way past 205 or way below 155, I achieve max loss of $390. But I don't have to wait for that to happen, and I don't have to wait till expiration. While Nvidia is moving within my range, and as time goes by, the value of my premiums that I collected go down in value or decrease. So I can close the trade early as time goes by. So when exactly 3 weeks went by, I was able to close this exact same trade for $55. So half the premiums that I collected originally. And as you can see, September 13, Nvidia dropped a little bit, went all the way down to 172. So never reached 160, but it still dropped all the way down to 172. And then it went back up, 184, 186. Now it's trading at 186. Now, if I had held it to expiration, it looks like I would have been safe. It would have stayed below 200 and I could have kept the full $110 without having to close it early for $55. But I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to take the risk. The strategy is to close the trade early for at least half the profit whenever you can, just to avoid the risk of losing the full $390. Because yes, maybe Nvidia is trading at 186 now, but you could wake up to Nvidia dropping 20% or 15%, even if it's not earnings related. For whatever reason, it happens often. A stock could just drop 10 or 15% overnight. So if that happens, then your trade that is currently profitable can end up on the losing side. So that's why if you have the chance to close a trade early for profit, you take it. So when Nvidia was trading at 180, I sold this following iron condor. I sold the 200 call, I bought the 205 call, and then I sold the 160 put and bought the 155 put. Now the difference between the strikes here and here is $500. That's my max loss. Same thing on this side, right? $500. Now Nvidia at expiration of October 18 is cannot be on both sides at the same time. It's either going to be completely on this side, so way past 205, or it's going to be completely on this side. So my max loss can only be achieved once. It will not be achieved twice. But since I collected $110 to open this trade, my max loss of $400 is reduced by 110. So my max loss becomes $390. And that only happens if Nvidia is trading past 205 or past 155. But anything in between here at expiration, so on October 18, I keep the full profit of $110. Now, I placed this trade September 13, and since then, Nvidia dropped a little bit, and then it came back up. And right now it's trading at around 186. So I closed this trade on October 4th for $55. So I paid $55 to close the trade. Remember, I received $110 to open the trade, so the difference is my profit. Minus commissions, sadly, of $16, leaving me a difference of $39 net profit. But my return on capital is this $39 divided by this $390, which is my max loss. So that's my return on capital, which is 10% in 3 weeks. Now, yes, I could have easily kept it and held on to it till expiration because it has a good chance of staying between 200 and 160. The range is quite wide, increasing my chance of being profitable on this trade. But from experience, I know that anything can happen, so I decided to close the trade early. So this is an option strategy called Iron Condor, which allows you to have a neutral assumption on the stock. So you're not necessarily picking a direction. You don't know where the stock is going. It's great if you don't want to guess or predict where the stock is going or whether it's going to go up, whether it's going to go down, but you want to benefit from the stock as long as it stays within a certain range. So you're basically telling the stock to do whatever it wants, go up, go down, go sideways. But as long as you stay within this wide range, within a certain period, I'm happy, I make my profit. So it's sort of like placing a bet because you've got an expiration date. So you're placing a bet, for example, within the next 30 days, as long as Nvidia, which is currently trading at 180, stays between 160 and 200, I make $110. But I know my probabilities. I know, for example, that I have an 80% chance of that happening. So it's not a 50-50 bet. Your chance of making that $110 or keeping that $110 has a higher probability than actually losing $390. And your probabilities increase if you actually manage the trade, if you actually close your winners early instead of waiting till expiration. So that's the idea behind the Iron Condor, the strategy behind it. So just wanted to share with you this trade I made, like the other trades I made, like Shopify and Chipotle Mexican Grill. Now, of course, I've got some losing trades, which I will share soon, like Amazon and Netflix. All right, so if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Like always, if you can open an account with QUESTRADE to trade on the stock market, use my referral code in the description below the video to get up to $250 back. Thanks for watching.